Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. This is the fourth Cargo Along the Danube online webinar in partnership with the Port of Constanta. Thank you them for helping us. A practical information, we make a recording about this conference, as you see, and I will publish it on our YouTube channel after the conference, so we don't send to you the presentations. You can watching back via YouTube. I will send you the link when I uploaded it. So the first presentation, the opening presentation, is from the Embassy of Romania to Hungary. Horia Mintas, the economic counselor, joined us today, like last year. So thank you so much. You join us again. Horia, the title of your presentation is the regional relations of the Romanian economy, because you are the key on the Danube. So the Romanian economy is very well influenced the Danube traffic. So Horia, please start your presentation and share if you have a presentation.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you again for the opportunity to have this presentation on your conference. I will share my presentation with you. Just 1 second. Can you see it?
Yeah. Now you need to start.
Yes, just 1 second, because sometimes it's slower, the computer, than the speech.
Oh, it's perfect.
It's good? Okay.
Good.
So my name is Horia Mintas. I am the economic counselor and the head of the trade office of the Romanian embassy in Hungary. And part of my job is to help the economic and trade relations between the two countries. And of course, a big part of it, it's the Danube and everything that is related to water transport. I will share my presentation. I will start with about Romania, an overview of the country. As you can see, for persons who don't know, Romania is the 7th largest country in Europe. The capital is Bucharest, with a population of around 3 million inhabitants in the metropolitan area, and it's the largest city. We are members of the EU, the NATO, and all other international organizations. The GDP in 2022 was 285.9 billion euro. And for this year, we foresee around 2% growth. So probably we're almost reaching 300 billion euro, the GDP. We have a potential for growth. As I mentioned before, here you can see during the last 10 years how our GDP fluctuated. And for 2024, the prognosis is 3.4. Of course, in the last years, we had rough years around Europe for all the countries, especially in the region. And now with all what's going on, economic and political, in our region, of course, it affects the trade as well. The inflation in Romania in 2023, it's around 10.5%. And in 2024, we hope it will be 6%. The unemployment rate last year was 5.5%. And 2024, we foresee somewhere about the same figures. As you can see, in the last years, the unemployment was roughly constant. The minimum wage in Romania is 604 euros. Starting October 2023, the minimum wage was raised to 603 euro per month. Of course, we have some special wages in different sectors like construction or agriculture. The FDI stock by sectors, manufacturing, of course, has the largest share, then trade, construction, IT, and C. Because Romania has a really good position, geographically speaking, and because the Romanian students and people speak many languages, English is widely spoken of more than 90% of the young people and the population. A lot of companies have chosen Romania as their headquarters for the R&D centers like Siemens, Bosch, Daimler, and many others. We are a competitive market. Prices are fairly competitive among other European countries. As you can see, we have an hourly labor cost about 9.5 euro. At the internet, we can brag that we are 12th in the world, and the natural gas prices are, let's say, competitive. The tax system in Romania, it's one of the most competitive in the EU. As you can see, the corporate income tax is 16%. The social security for the employer, it's 2.25, and the VAT is 19%. The employee has to pay a 10% income tax and 35% social security tax. As I mentioned before, the R&D centers, many companies chose Romania because the Romanian government, more than 8 years ago, they introduced some special taxes for the IT sector. As you can see, there is 0% income tax for employers and employees that perform in the R&D, and 0% income tax for employees involved in IT&C, construction, agriculture, and food industry. But this only applies if the monthly gross do not exceed 10,000 lei. That is roughly 2,000 euro. Up until last year, it was 10,000 euro per year. As you can see, Romania is fairly competitive in terms of taxes. Corporate tax, VAT tax, one of the lowest in the EU. Dividend tax, one of the lowest, but we still have a tax that was introduced recently, the 8%. Of course, if you would like to put yourself as an investor in Romania, the government offers state aid. This is mainly targeting the manufacturing industry. This is the intensity map for the state aid. As many of you know, on the eastern part of Romania, right on the tip of the tail, I always say that the shape of the country is like a fish. So where is the tail? You can find the Black Sea. On the northern part, you can find Ukraine. West part, it's Hungary and Serbia. And in the south, it's Bulgaria. And our southern border is the whole Danube River. In terms of connectivity, we have many airports and ports. As you can see in the eastern part and in the southern part, we have all our ports. Cluj-Napoca is the second largest city in Romania and the second largest, busiest airport. Industrial parks support investors into our country, and they have a lot of benefits like exemption on land, building, and urban planning taxes. Most of the industrial parks provide the access to the utilities, and you can negotiate with them and with the local authorities different benefit packages depending on the size and of the investments. There are more than 100 industrial parks in Romania. that are, most of them are owned by the public sector, meaning the city hall or the county, but there are also private parks. In terms of market opportunities, we consider the agriculture as one of the main focuses, as Romania is in 2022 was the second largest maize producer, but probably you know more than I do about this this area. Energy as well is domain where we try to attract investors and we try to develop. We have a good energy mix of clean energy, more than 30%. And we hope that we will reach our independence sooner than expected. This is just, for example, some of the large companies that chose Romania as their main investment site. IT companies. And these are the top industries that form the main driver of the economy: the automotive industry with more than 31 billion euro turnover, the IT&C industry 16 billion euro, and the aerospace industry with almost 700 million euro turnover. And now I will share some data about the relations between the two countries, Hungary and Romania. Last year we had 13.17 billion euro turnover of our trade. It was a slight decrease from the past year when we had our all-time record of 15 billion euro. Hungary, it's the third partner for commercial partner of Romania. The first one is Germany and the second one is Italy. And therefore, the ties between our two countries expand not only on the river trade, but also on the infrastructure, on the road infrastructure, and on the train and rail infrastructure. As you can see, the trade between the two countries starting 2013 doubled, as I mentioned before. Some of the top export categories are actually the best categories from the import and export part is the mineral products, machineries, metals, vehicles, because of the automotive industry between the two countries. And the machineries, of course, are part of the automotive industries, and vegetable products. In terms of import categories, roughly are the same, but for example, last year, as you can see on the last position, we have livestock and animal products, meaning meat products. Last year we had food products was on the last part. These are some of the main companies that invest both in Romania and in Hungary. Of course, in agriculture, in air, in retail, energy, tourism, healthcare, and trade. These are my details and my contact details. Please feel free to write me for any inquiries or anything I can help you with. And I hope I didn't take much of your time. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mintas. We enjoyed your presentation, and thank you for the numbers, which is always a good chance for us to understand the deeper connection between our countries. The next presentation arrived from the end of the river or the gate of the economy is the port of Constanta. As you know, we have a close cooperation with them, so we spoke about the topic of this conference, and they recommended us the intermodal traffic, which was in the past just a chance, but many difficulties ahead. But now, let's hope the intermodal traffic can growing along the Danube. And why? This is what we will hear from Gabriel Vișan's presentation, who is the commercial manager of the port of Constanta. Vișan, why will increase the intermodal traffic along the Danube?
Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you. Just a few seconds to share my presentation with you. So,
perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. As you already know, my name is Gabriel Vișan. I'm commercial director of Port of Constanta, and for the following minutes, I will make a short presentation about the Port of Constanta and his projects. Here we can find some figures about our traffic in the last 6 years. I must outline the fact that for the past years, we have surpassed the 62 million tons level, which means that we are in an uptrend. The last year we have operated 92.79 million tons, representing a new record in our history. This figure being influenced by the regional context. Out of this traffic, 77% represent maritime traffic, and 23% is the river traffic. A few words about the categories which are operated in our port. The main categories of the cargo that were handled in the past years in Constanta port are grains, which represented 40% from our total traffic, followed by the oilseed, crude oil and oil products, fertilizers, iron ores, and coal. These are the dry and liquid bulk cargoes that are traditionally handled in the port of Constanta. Another type of cargo that have experienced an important increase the last year are the containers. In the Constanta port are 2 container terminals, one which is operated by the local company called SOCEP, and the second one, which is the largest terminal in the Black Sea, is operated by the Dubai Ports World. The both terminals have a total capacity around 1.3 million TEU. On this slide, you can see the entire structure of the traffic categorized by the ANCTR international classification. Here we can mention is that the increase of the total traffic is 22.5%, and for the container it's 13.56% compared with the 2022. Out of total traffic, we can see on this slide that we have operated last year alone with Hungary 825,000 million tons, grain representing approximately 75%, followed by foodstuff and animal feed and iron ores. Comparing the first 2 months of this year with the first 2 months of the last year, we can see that the traffic recorded with Hungary is almost 7 times bigger comparing to the same period of the 2023, which is a good sign for this beginning of the year. Here you can see the map of the port of Constanta. The total surface of the port is approximately 4,000 hectares, out of which 1/3 is represented by the land, while 2/3 are covered by water. Port of Constanta is both a river and a maritime port. The connection with the river Danube is being assured by a Black Sea Danube Canal, located in the southern part of the port. Natural operation depths are ranging from the 8 meters to 19 meters, allowing the accommodation for the largest ships that can transit the Bosphorus Strait. In the port, there are 38 port operators, 100 forwarding companies, in total approximately 700 entities that perform activities every day. The new situation in the Black Sea imposed the revision and reconfiguration of the traditional logistics corridors. And in this respect, middle corridors has become very important. The restriction regarding the transit through Russia made this corridor the main option to reach Europe. Our vision is that Port of Constanta is the connection hub for the cargos transited on the middle corridor to European Union and could connect the Black Sea to Baltic Sea, practically being the connection for the free markets, Baltic Sea, Black Sea, and Caspian Sea. Having in view this concept regarding the Port of Constanta, there are two important regions regarding connections and their development. On the western side, we have the connections with the Baltic Sea, and in this respect, the Free Seas initiative being very important. Within this initiative, there are 3 projects involving Port of Constanta. One is Via Carpathia road corridor, second Fairway Danube, and the last but not the least, Rail to Sea, which is the most important, being a rail corridor that crosses 4 countries, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, and Romania, and connecting industrial centers in these countries and offering connections to Rail Baltica at Warsaw. On the eastern side, we have the connections in the Black Sea with the Georgian ports that are also very important regarding the middle corridor. In May 2022, a new corridor regular service has been introduced between Poti and Constanta, ensuring a direct connection with the middle corridor. In June 2023, a new RoRo regular line with Poti has been launched, paying necessary support to already functioning container line, especially in this new geopolitical context. Another initiative is to reopen the Ro-Ro line with Karasu in Turkey. This line is important because it ensures the connection with Turkey and its industrial centers in Bursa and Ankara by avoiding the Bosphorus Strait and its additional costs and transit time. I hope that my presentation gave you a good image, a new actually image of the Constanta port. Please, you can find more details about us on our social media accounts and our site. Also, you can always contact us, and we do all the best to help you. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm very thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Vișan.
Expect to see you next days in Budapest.
Yeah.
With all of you.
Yeah.
See you.
Have a nice flight to Budapest. And
okay, thank you. Good day for everybody.
The next presentation arrives from Serbia. The IKON Shipping is a forwarder company, and they have a deep impact in grain traffic and other traffic related to Serbia and the Danube. And I would like to introduce the presenter, Ikonija Andjelić, the CEO of the IKON Shipping, will present us about the traffics and the chance for intermodality towards Serbia. Unmute your microphone, please, at first. That is the button. Unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now perfect.
Kedves kollégán, jó napot, hogy vagytok?
Nagyon szépen köszönjük. We hear you very well. And you shared our presentation, as I see. So you can just step.
Good day for all. Thank you very much for invitation. For I'll have opportunity to say something about let's say very bad position, actual position of the Serbian vessel owners. For as you know, since Christmas, I don't know if you know, the situation is more or less the same in Serbia as well as our neighbor countries regarding river water transport. Since Christmas, I could say it is something like stillstand. It's a calm period when after the Ukrainian after the war in Ukraine, we had one collapse, one chaos on the market, and now the main point, the main problem in the river transport is missing cargo. And you know, since the war in Ukraine, the ball was in the hands of the vessel owners, which it was very a lot of quantity of the cargo due to redirection of the Ukraine flow market up via Constanta when the Black Sea was cut off from the Ukraine flows. And then we had some supply demand, typical board supply demand image, where it was a lot of cargo and not enough barges. So it was possibility to reach some good freight. Today it is missing cargo, and now when the logistic and river transport can support trading, even now there is no enough cargo. So the first of all, it is the reason, as well as in other European countries, the reason is a great price disbalance between output and input. So the primary agriculture producers cannot accept the final market prices due to the reason that the production prices reach such a very high level. So there is an unaffordable discrepancy and price disbalance. So if there is no interest to invest, so no profit. And when we know that the transport and trading are two sides of one leaf, it is obviously the reason low price or high price is the reason why we cannot load barges in this moment, so many barges as well we did it since years. And the general notes on the general scale, from 0 up to 5, I could say that according to interview with vessel owners that the general note is 1, and there is no predictions that something will be better very soon. So due to intermissions and the pauses made by COVID and then by war in Ukraine, we had so a dynamic price jump. And what is interesting, the second bad factor on trading is also the cargo from South American region and also Russian cargo, despite of restrictions, so that the Serbian cargo, in addition to real global inflation, and in addition to export ban, as well as in our neighbors' country was, when the crucial clients had to find the solution, substitution cargo. So these are all the factors which made really bad influence on the general river transport situations. And practically the vessel owners, the freights, the vessel owners came back to the freights, let's say on the year 2019, and it would be acceptable to arrange transport in case the other costs, such fuel costs, such crew costs, which increased most probably with about 35%. So this situation is, I would say, without any, they may find some not business model to make profit, but one sustainable working model to keep the river transport in some normal condition, or especially in the period before the war in Ukraine. And what else is the problem regarding there are many empty barges which cannot be loaded due to the reasons I've already mentioned. And now regarding predictions, the experts cannot say any precise predictions, so we must, they're waiting only for this stagnation or continuation of these current situations. And regarding our state, yes, there are more and more newspapers, articles about state's investments into river transport, into river transport infrastructure, river transport waterways, into locks, into development of smart transport system. And you also heard, I'm sure, about the project about removal of the sunken German ships from the Second World War. And in this way, we will make some, probably some, not probably, but for sure, improvement of waterway on this critical sector from the kilometer 857. And now, let's see the evidence, the data about the transshipment cargo, especially in comparison, the year before before war in Ukraine, and in comparison to the year 2022. According to this, visually, there is no much difference between transshipped quantities, but the problem was when the many barges were concentrated on the routing Ukraine Constanta, and then the Serbian cargo owners had a very big problem to find barges per normal freights, and then despite of that facts, when we say that, when we compare these data, despite of decreasing trend, we cannot say that the situations in reality was so apocalyptic. Practically, Serbian cargo owners could not find barges each time per normal freights. But when we see this data from the Port Governance Agency Republic of Serbia, we cannot say this is the reason only the war and profitability on this route in Ukraine Constanta, but also must take in consideration that the most transshipped cargo in Serbian port is sandstone, which is not commercial route such as grains or fertilizer, and also we must take in consideration water level problems. We had some period sequences when Danube water level was decreased, that transport was obstructed or blocked. And now these are the general points. That is nothing new. So our Romanian partners, Bulgarians and Hungarians know these situations. And just to say, I'm looking forward, impatiently looking forward from the final evidence from the Port Governance Agency from Serbia about the last year evidence. So only according to interviews they gave, the formula is that in Serbia last year it was transshipped at about 15.1 million tons, what is 0.8% less than the previous year. And also remarkable was cargo grains decreasing, what was expected, of course, due to the reason about trading and business, which was also in collapse. Input-output prices, as well as we had also in Germany with German farmers. And in order to support you regarding intermodal transport in Serbia, I'm not dealing with that, but I used a method of journalistic research. And I was very fascinated when I see how much potential and how high potential is in Serbia regarding intermodal transport, which is more and more popular, as we can see, and which is, it seems, the best solution for the future logistical transport. And we have Serbia. Serbia has high potential in the sense that we have all technical possibilities for regional transport. I'm talking about the Danube ports, such Novi Sad, Belgrade, Smederevo, Pančevo, etc. But this is, I cannot say this is developed. This is in something like in the concept phase, start phase. Why? Due to the reason of not developed infrastructure and organizations, but even despite of the fact that the state has permanently investing into Serbian infrastructure, which can see on the base of the roads. But regarding rails, so it has to be modernized and also suitable for EU standards. Let's see, just to remind how regarding containers in Serbia. So the main route was, when I'm talking about intermodal transport, the main route was per the port of Rijeka. So we load trucks and then per train or per trucks, per road, we export cargo at the port of Rijeka per sea transport. But in the last period, it is more and more popular, so it is not. It is easy to talk in Serbia about the Danube ports and the part of Vojvodina, for is the good infrastructure, and we had the Danube. And what is remarkable that in South Serbia, in the region of Niš, our partners and the box terminal, our partners, one respectable logistic company, Milsped, arrange intermodal transport from the south of Serbia and has permanently a good connection with the North Germany. What is fascinating when we are talking about Germany, a problem is when we have just a moment, please, just a moment. When we talk about Rhine-Danube corridor, when you talk about this corridor, the problem is that Germany is not consciously, but the transport from Regensburg is concentrated, most probably exceptionally, only to the North Sea, to Rotterdam, to Ara, and due to the reason of many vessels, it is needed for this routing from Regensburg per Main and Rhine. It is complex arrangement for our Serbian owners, for instance, it must be some specific vessel constructions, then must be crew with patents and the cost that's high, etc., etc. So it is very good and protect this from South Serbia. We can arrange transport to North Germany permanently, and is more and more popular. Everybody is more and more interested in intermodal transport, and Serbia is more and more attractive regarding that. And I would like also to mention, I received in the last period, I received more and more transport inquiries from the Regensburg transport to empty containers to Serbia. So it means that something is happened, something is developed for sure in these directions. But when we have all this potential capacity on our ports, when we have good roads and good trail, so the problem will stay and must be solved in the sense to find a back cargo to load these empty containers. And when we say Port of Novi Sad, where I'm just sitting now, Novi Sad has a very good geostrategic position and a full commitment for each cargo, and especially can handle containers, and had good network connection. The Novi Sad is just in the corridor 10 and Rhine-Main corridor, and can connect very good connection, has very good connection to all Danube parts and to all regions, not only in Serbia, but also to our neighbors countries. And it is remarkable that there has been also 3 attempts for container liner. Unfortunately, it was stopped. Why? The reason was, so it is not possible to arrange one container liner. For cargo owners need always permanently routing to load containers, and these empty containers must go back to the port of loading or to the place of loading. So I think this is for the future conference. If you remember, since years when we followed the conference of Port of Constanta, there has always been mentioned the same problems. Everybody claimed about congestions, pilotage, demurrage, etc., etc., and the high agency costs. Now, this is not more the source of the problems and the topics of this conference. We are talking about something else. This is remarkable. So today, no one is claiming about these problems. There are no problems made. Today, these are the problems about missing cargo and about low freights. Everybody's missing demurrages, congestions for sure. And let's go back to the container, to the intermodal transport. I could notice that except for except for Germany and Austria, also Italy and Turkey are more and more interested in Serbian intermodal transport services. I would also, it is remarkable to mention also the terminal in India, which is attractive, more and more attractive tool for development of this kind of transport. And at the end, one of the most respectable Serbian company, Elixir Zorka, started one new project the building construction of the container terminal at the port of Szabadka. The river, it is also interesting. For instance, before 5 years, since years, no one was interesting to go to the Sava River. Very interesting. And now it is not the Sava head. I'm talking to you like a broker. Sava received so importance, and they're also more and more interested to the river Sava. And especially when we take in consideration that the port of Brčko in Bosnia also is under modernization, according to journalistic reports. And now when Elixir Zorka, LTH, a new Elixir's member, upon reconstruction of this new container terminal, and also on the surface of the 40,000 quadrat meter, there will be also about 6,000 quadrat meter for storage space of dangerous cargo. And technically, this is only the start. There, as in this beginning phase, they have also 30 trucks with handling of the containers of 20, 40, 50, 45 feet, and also locomotives. And the position of the port of Szabadka is of this future container terminal is also great. It is in the near to Belgrade, to Novi Sad, and to New Road, which we are proud of, the Szabadka, and also a very good connection to the rail and other local networks. That is in general, so there is nothing new under the sun when we are talking about Serbian water transport. So thank you very much. I want to say that I'm very thankful to my colleagues from this field of transport, which are working on to make Serbian transport possibilities on the EU level.
Thank you so much, Ikonija, and this powerful presentation. We enjoyed it very much.
Yes,
I have bad news about the next presentation, because the next company, the Sea Container Services, cannot present today. I'm very sorry. So we skip this presentation, and I would like to ask Mr. Zoltán Fábián, are you ready to present us? Are you here and listen us? And could you start your presentation? Yes, Zoltán started to share their screen. Should you unmute button press, because we don't listen anything at the moment?
Okay, do you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Oh, okay, great. So first of all, many thanks for the introduction, and I would like to welcome all the participants of this conference. I would like to apologize for my voice. I'm a little bit ill, so you have to deal with this voice for today, at least. I'm sorry about it. And in the following few minutes, I would like to show you how we see the intermodal traffic along the Danube from our perspective, from the terminal perspective, of what we see as breakthrough points, and how we can prepare for a kind of better handling or better improvement on the Danube container traffic. So let's see first of all the Hungarian cake. The total Hungarian cake was nearly 754,000 TEUs in 2024, and I have to say that it was more or less the same cake in 2023, a little bit less, so it was around 742,000 TEU altogether in 2023, and you can see that mainly the Hungarian throughput is from laden containers, so almost 500,000 TEU are the laden containers number, and there are a certain volume of empty containers, while there are significant volume, about 42,000 TEU are the craneable semi-trailers, bob and spoke bodies. These intermodal transporting units belongs to intra-European traffic, of course. If I see the traffic split between the terminals, I have to say that it is a Budapest-based business. So there are 3 big terminals around Budapest, and the 3 big terminals are handling almost the 95% of the total Hungarian throughput. There are several other terminals in the countryside. I have to say, at the west, near to the western border, it is Gyeshev-Sopron terminal, or near to the eastern border, near to the Ukrainian border. There are 2 terminals, Záhony Port and East-West Gate Container Terminal. I haven't mentioned their statistic in my presentation, because all the containers which are handled by Záhony Port or East-West Gate Container Terminal, they are arriving to one of a Budapest terminal, and we are delivering toward to the Adriatic, mainly to the Adriatic port. So that's why I did not show the statistic features of Záhony Port, but they throughput is around the throughput of Gyeshev terminal in Sopron. If I see that Laden maritime throughput, you can see that there are some differences. There are around 100,000 TEU difference between the total Laden Hungarian volume and the total Laden maritime volume of Hungary. This is because there is significant volume of Silk Road traffic in Hungary, and in addition, we are also handling significant volume around 50,000 TEU container flows within intra-European traffic. So that's why you can find some difference between it. We can say that you can see also that the vast majority of the maritime container throughput is coming or going to south ports. I mean Adriatic ports, mainly to Koper, Trieste, and Rijeka, and I have to count also with Piraeus also, while the less volume is going to those seaports like as Hamburg, Bremerhaven, or Ara port. You can see also that it's not a big secret that the 2M is the leading shipping companies also in Hungary. Last year, Maersk Line made the biggest share between the shipping lines in Hungary. And the second one was the MSC, and third one was CMA CGM. But if you see the global ranking, it's almost the same. So just the first are a little bit different. If I see the Hungarian container throughput on the Danube, so let's say while we are the only one container terminal, intermodal container terminal on the Danube, so this is the same without that statistic, you can see a big decreasing in the last 2 years. The traffic dropped down almost to the half of the previous traffic. So while we could handle around 7,000 TEUs in 2021, then we can handle only the half of them, around 3,500 TEUs in 2022, 2023. Let's see the reasons why it was happened. To understand the situation, I have to say that we started the barge service or container traffic flow not yesterday, but Mahart Container Center, our terminal, is handling barge traffic since 1970s, or I can say that the first container ever had arrived to our terminal was a sealand container arrived with a barge to our terminal. So the first container also had arrived by barge to our terminal, but there was many trials during this long time, and finally there was an IHORX MCC service since 2012, still the starting of this Ukrainian crisis, Ukrainian conflict. Since that, this service is unfortunately has stopped. Despite and we have only some minor traffic or down volume on the Danube. I have to underline also that despite the service with IHORX, we are a totally neutral terminal, so we are handling barges or self-going vessels organized not only by the IHORX but by other operators also. We can offer a spot connection to almost alongside the Danube, Rhine River. We had good examples in the past. So last year we had callings from Antwerp, we called Duisburg, Ludwigshafen, Nürnberg, Regensburg, Ernst, Bratislava, and downstream mainly Pančevo. And unfortunately, we hadn't got any call to Belgrade or Constanta last year. This has happened because when this bloody war was started, then it was a very glad news, or it was a very positive news that all capacities in Constanta, all container capacities in Constanta was booked, but it was not it wasn't the best news for us, because in this respect the congested container maritime ports means less opportunity for the Danube traffic in Hungary. So there was also lack of capacity on the vessel side. So we struggled a lot to find proper vessel capacity, because most of the fleet on which are working on the Danube found new jobs between the Ukrainian Danube ports and Constanta, and significant fleet capacities are booked for some routes in the southern side of the Danube. Therefore, there was a big lack of capacities at the middle side of the Danube. I have to say also that the freight rates wasn't make positive effects on our possibilities. Also, we see this time also that the prices are really fluctuating. Sometimes it's almost 10 times higher. The rates are 10 times higher than usual. And if we see the usual rates, the average freight rates also highly increased due to this conflict and the sky-high gasoline prices. So altogether, with the fluctuating volumes, I have to say that presently we see only disadvantages in the Danube container traffic. The Danube container traffic is presently mostly unreliable. There are lack of capacities, but at least I have to say it's much more expensive than the usual rail freight rates, or even sometimes we're facing that the freight rates on Danube higher than the trucking rate. So it is something we have to handle it. Otherwise, there is really no opportunity for Danube container traffic with such things. So I have to say that in 2023, beside the spot businesses to Antwerp or to Germany, we had to concentrate our traffic mainly to Austria and Serbia, to the surrounding countries. So the most traffic we sent to Slovakia, Bratislava, Vienna, Ernst or Pančevo. That was the vast majority of our Danube traffic in 2023. What are the bottlenecks besides the above mentioned on the Danube? I don't want to say about the sufficient water level, because I think many times we repeated and repeated. We have problems with the sufficient water level in Hungary, which limiting our possibilities. However, I have to say that it's presently it's the less headache for the container traffic, because usually laden containers are still a lightweight cargo for a self-going vessel. So, for example, if a self-going vessel can take 2,000 tons of grain, that means if I loading this vessel full with laden containers, then the gross weight of containers will be around 900 tons or maximum 1,000 tons. So it's still the half capacity of the vessel while it's fully loaded with containers. Sometimes we are struggling with lack of proper vessels. For the surrounding states, we have to use the barge service due to the lack of self-ongoing vessels, which are making their business at the southern side of Danube, between Ukrainian ports and Constanta. Sometimes we are struggling with also with the old and outdated regulation for container transport on the Danube. I have to mention that some, for example, some Hungarian regulation seems to be it's a container phobic regulation that they are counting laden container as it would be dangerous cargo, and the vessels laden with container have to do the same regulation that it would be loaded with dangerous cargo, which is incredible, I think so. Another problem that we are always try to focus to the maritime containers, but the Danube flow is not matching with the flow of the maritime containers. Therefore, I have to underline that we should focus rather to the Silk Road and intra-European traffic, where we can find more business and where we have more opportunities instead of focusing on maritime business. And I have to say that we had some good examples, good tests, not only with containers, but with semi-trailers also. So when I would like to say, when I'm saying the container service on the Danube, I would rather say that intermodal traffic on the Danube, because I would like to count not only with containers, but with semi-trailers, spoke bodies, any other intermodal transporting units also. And what would be the breaking points in intermodal transport on Danube? I think it would be a good idea to establish a line service on the Danube for intra-European traffic, mainly from Turkey. I have to underline that the time of flow from Turkey is present past 1.5 years. So I see much more potential in this business to establish rail link or establish a waterway link from Turkey via Constanta to Budapest. The second thing that it could be a spot business that I think everybody knows about the struggling of maritime container flow due to the Aden conflict, that all vessels have to avoid the Suez Channel and have to go around Africa, which makes big delays, planned voyages, and also the maritime freight rates are 5 times higher than it was in September 2023. So it is also a good option for the Silk Road middle corridor through the Black Sea. However, I have to underline also that it is a limited option, because if I compare the middle corridor freight rates and transit time with Silk Road corridor through Malashevitsa, I have to say that the corridor through Malashevitsa is much cheaper, and the transit time is around 5 to 10 days shorter. So that's the reason that while the Silk Road traffic is dramatically increasing in Budapest as the Aden conflict appeared. So I have to say that the Silk Road traffic is nearly 5-6 times bigger this time than it was in September last year. That unfortunately, and I have to sad to say that there is no traffic to Budapest from via middle corridor. So this is something we have to also investigate the reason. And if I find how to solve the bottlenecks, we can maybe we have some chance to establish link on the Danube for Silk Road middle corridor traffic. And last but not least, I have to show you also how we are preparing for Danube traffic, what we can offer to our clients. We are improving our traffic. We are going to improve the storage yard of the terminal by 19,000 square meters and 1 kilometer new rail sidings. But we are improving also the Danube capacity of the terminal by a new rail-mounted train, which will be ready for operation beginning of next year. And we are refurbishing 14,000 square meter storage yard around the quayside to offer a better service for the Danube traffic also. And I have to underline that as the only trimodal container terminal in Hungary, we can offer a neutral service to our client with a wide range of transloading options and delivery options with the network provided by our rail or waterway transportation operator companies. So that's what I would like to say just in a nutshell. I would like to thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Zoltán. I have two question or request for you. The ones of them, your presentation is not stabbed on our picture. So if you can share with us again and just for 1 second to see what slide, it would be great.
Which slide? This last one?
No, all of them. We are just seeing one of the most important one, the third, where we see the Danube volumes, but not the others. So it's just stabbed for a few seconds. It was the only one what we've seen during your presentation.
Really? Oh my God.
So you don't need a big explanation, but sometimes we heard very bad your voice, and one of our attendant asked me why decreased with 51% the Danube side traffic since 2021. You can repeat your answer for this question.
Yeah, for sure. The Danube traffic was decreased.
And it's bad voice again. So
oh my
closer.
God.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yep.
So the Danube traffic was dramatically decreased in 2022 and 2023 due to the reason that there was no capacity of vessels in the middle side of the Danube, because most of the fleet went down to Danube Ukrainian ports and found a lucrative business to deliver cargo from Ukrainian ports to Constanta. This is the first reason. Second reason that the freight rates was increased and dramatically. The freight rates was almost 10 times bigger than the usual one. So I can tell you a small story that I was interested to book a Dutch vessel for a Constanta Budapest trip. And the owner told me that hey, Zoltán, we are friends, so I can offer a freight rate for one-way trip from Constanta to Budapest for 240,000 euro. And it was really, I think, 6 times higher than it was before. And I told them that, listen up, Mitchell, it's a nice freight rate, but I don't want to buy your vessel. I only want to hire it for a one-way traffic. And he told me that, unfortunately, this is the freight rate because he can get this money for one trip from Ukrainian port to Constanta. So he's very sorry that he can offer the vessel only for this freight rate. So the freight rate was also dramatically increased. And I have to say that the usual freight rate is still very high due to the sky-high gasoline prices and the lack of vessels. And altogether, it means that we have less possibilities on the Danube. And I have to say that sometimes it is cheaper to deliver containers by rail to Austrian destination than by the road, than by the Danube. So presently, the waterway freight rates are many times higher than the rail freight rates. That's the reason.
Thank you so much. And I changed my mind, so I will share your presentation on our website. So
I'm going to send it.
So please send me and I publish it for our dear participants. Thank you so much, Zoltán. Join us.
Okay, I'm really sorry that you did not see the presentation. I'm sorry.
No, it will be more interesting to check the homepage. So it was a good marketing from your side. Thank you so much. And my last bad news for today is the Transport Trade Services presentation. Mr. Patria is not available this afternoon, but he was here last year. So it was a very enjoyable presentation and memorable. So if you want to see it, you can watch back from last year, but not this year. So sorry. So our next presentation will be the CFR Marfă. Renata Godja, the commercial manager of the biggest Romanian railway company. And we hope we will hearing some interesting information about the railway related traffic along the Danube. So from Hungary to Romania or back or to other countries. Renata, could you start your presentation? I know it was a little hurry. Renata, are you with us? Then please press the unmute button if you can start your presentation. If not, in that case, I would like to ask Mr. Murvaj from Port of Vukovar. Is he here and ready to present?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, thank you so much. So if you can share your presentation, you can start.
Okay, just a second, please.
And I will check it if what we're seeing.
Okay.
So the sharing is started.
Okay, do you see it?
Yeah, and the step for the next one to check.
Okay.
The next slide, please. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be a participant in the Cargo Along the Danube conference again, like last year. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Krešimir Murvaj, head of the agency and freight forwarding department at the Port of Vukovar. I will give you a presentation on topic intermodal traffic along the Danube with a Croatian river port perspective. Let us go to the slide. Just something to tell you about Port of Vukovar today. The Port of Vukovar is the most important and only Croatian river on the Danube at the 1,335 kilometer on the downstream flow of the Danube River. It's secured navigability 365 days a year, and we are still owned by Republic of Croatia. We are state firm, what can I tell? We have maximum transshipment capacity about 1 million to 1,200,000 tons of various goods. And currently we have 60 employees. Just some short info about Port Vukovar today. The next slide is about our location on the Danube. Port of Vukovar is located on Pan-European Corridor 7, near the border of two other corridors, Corridor 5 and 5C, and Corridor 10. It has very good geographical position, and it's located in the intersection of west-south flow of the goods between Croatia and Bosnia-Herzegovina, and the northeast flow of the goods between Hungary, Serbia, and Romania. The road and railway connectivity of the Port of Vukovar enables fast transport of goods between the port and the major markets. And of course, Osijek-Lisa Airport is further enhances the potential of the connecting of Port of Vukovar with distant markets. Just to tell about something about definition of intermodality, because the subject and the theme is intermodality. Just to remind ourselves of definition. I found the definition of intermodality that is, in my opinion, best explains what intermodality is. It is from Gerhard Müller of the US Merchant Marine Academy. The transportation of passengers and freight on two or more different modes in such a way that all parts of the transportation process, including the exchange of information, are efficiently connected and coordinated. That's mostly everything is defined by this sentence. So there is some key data points about intermodal traffic. That is connection to road and rail networks, connection to seaports, containers and storage, and logistical services like custom service, insurance, cargo tracking, and additional services that help facilitate the transportation of goods across multiple modes. These elements of intermodality or multimodality help river ports to be key points in the global supply chain and support efficient and flexible transport of the goods. On our next slide, I put one example of intermodal or multimodal transport. Let me see it. Okay. Of the multimodal transport here in Vukovar. In the picture, you can see the loading of the steel square bars at the factory onto wagons. Then these wagons are directed to the port of Vukovar for storage. And upon the arrival of the barges, these steel square bars are loaded, and after loading, the loaded convoy are dispatched to Port of Constanta. At the Port of Constanta, the goods are once again stored until the arrival of the sea cargo ship that will transport these goods to the final destination of Diliskelesi in Turkey. That is the most example of our intermodal or multimodal transport in Port of Vukovar. Something to tell about some future investments in Port of Vukovar, because now we are enhancing this building a new quay about 300 meters. This project is part of a broader development project of the Vukovar inland port and the core network within a Rhine-Danube corridor. It will involve upgrading the coastal port infrastructure and the port connections with the coal rail and the road TEN-T network. These constructions of this new 300-meter of vertical quay on a section where the quay is not built, with accompanying railways tracks and connections to existing railway infrastructure. The total investment of the construction is, according to the feasibility study, is approximately 18 million euro. If you can see the picture, there will be another additional open warehouses and some new storage, covered or not, storage for new goods. Another investment here in the port of Vukovar was sent on 21st May 2018 by HŽ Infrastructure, signed the grant agreement as a part of operational program competitiveness and cohesion from 214 to 220 from the Cohesion Fund with the Ministry of the Sea, Transport and Infrastructure, with Central Finance and Contracting Agency. The value of this grant agreement is approximately about 90 million euro. The electrification, if you can see the picture down, this electrification of the section will ensure economically and energetically more profitable and ecologically sustainable railway traffic. The section capacity will also increase, and the access to the port of Vukovar will improve, which will contribute to the economic development of the local economy. That's for some investments here in port of Vukovar, and for some conclusion here about this intermodal traffic in our corridor. The strategy intermodal network from Danube region to Adriatic corridor. That was one of the ideas. So you can see now marked red that the inland water transport accounts for a very small portion of less than 1% of overall freight transport in Croatia. So there is much room for inland transportation. And the road and maritime transport accounted for the largest share in the freight transport. In the past few years, a further increase in road transportation and decrease in rail and inland waterway transport have been observed. Inland waterway transport is the most cost-efficient and environmentally friendly type of land transport, and it's therefore a priority to redirect road to inland waterway transport. In order to increase the share of inland waterway transport, it is necessary to establish an intermodal transport network, for example, more cargo storage facilities in ports, new railway connection via Vukovar to Port Rijeka, especially on the Adriatic-Danube axis. The intermodal network Danube-Adriatic is linked to Trans-European network TEN-T, and that is the Mediterranean and Rhine-Danube corridor. We hope that something will start and be organized something in this way, because there is much space for transport of intermodal transport from Port of Vukovar to Port of Rijeka. There were some plans, but not finished yet. We hope in the future that something will go that way. So this will be my short presentation. If you have some question or anything, please contact us. Here are info, and thank you very much for listening to me, and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kuprashek. It was a perfect presentation. Your voice was perfect, and we can see all the slides too. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now I would like to ask the Mrs. Renata Godja, if you are here, please press the unmute button and share your presentation. Okay, maybe she isn't here. In this case, I would like to ask Mr. Antonio Stoyan from the Danube Commission. Are you here?
Yes, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to all of you.
Thank you so much.
In fact, Mr. Manfred Zeitz should have joined this meeting, but unfortunately he's not available. He asked me to participate and also to give you a short report on our activity on the Danube Solidarity Lane. Of course, we know this is a meeting which is addressing, let's say, intermodality aspects of the transport in the Danube. So I will try to put together our report, our results, and connect them to the subject of this meeting, intermodality. Let me first try to share my screen with you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Can you see it?
Still we are waiting for your shared screen.
Sorry, 1 second. Can you see it now?
Okay, starting.
Okay.
And start.
Okay.
From beginning.
So
yeah, it's working. Thank you so much.
Again, thank you very much for the invitation. Again, as I'm responsible for the Danube Solidarity Lane, I will try to present first some of our results and also some of our challenges, and also try to share with you the experience that we have had on the Danube Solidarity Lane. Few words about Danube Solidarity Lane. It has been set up in May 2022 as part of the action plan for EU-Ukraine Solidarity Lane, in order to facilitate Ukraine's, mainly the Ukraine's agricultural exports and bilateral trade with European countries. I will start my presentation a little bit different, probably starting from the end, but probably that has a little bit more impact. I will start with the figures, just to give you a flavor of the size and the impact of the Danube Solidarity Lane. As you could see from this slide, only the export of grains, vegetable oils, and oilseeds of Ukraine in 2023 was almost 62 million tons. Out of these, around 50% has been exported via the Black Sea ports, Odessa, Pivdeni, and Chernomorsk. First, under this so-called Black Sea Grain Initiative, which ceased in August 2023 and restarted in late October, beginning of November 2023, under the so-called humanitarian corridor, using the territorial waters of Bulgaria and Romania in order to access these three ports, Odessa, Chernomorsk, and Pivdeni. The second as importance was Danube Solidarity Lane. So 2023, 22.6 million tons, 36% of the Ukrainian grain export. As you could see from these two numbers, the difference of 14% has been exported via other routes, trucks, trains, and other solidarity lanes. This just to give you a size of the work of the solidarity lane. A few other facts and figures. The cargo turnover of the 3 Danube ports, Reni, Izmail, and Kilia, was of 32 million tons, out of which the grains and the sun seeds and the sun oil almost were at a level of 70% of the turnover of these 3 ports. These 3 ports, imagine that in before May 2022, they were operating something in a range of 5,000 to 10,000 tons per day. In October last year, when it was the peak of the traffic in these 3 Ukrainian ports, the 3 Ukrainian ports together reached an average daily throughput rate of 125,000 tons per day in average. So I don't speak about peaks, I speak about averages. Today, of course, the traffic via these 3 ports diminished at a level of 50 to 60,000 tons per day, especially due to the intensive use of the Black Sea ports, Odessa, Chernomorsk, and Pivdeni. However, this remains a gate for the Ukrainian exports, even in the case if something wrong happens in Odessa, in Chernomorsk, in Pivdeni. So it remains an important gate for the Ukrainian export. The next slide shows the effort made by Romania in supporting, assisting, helping the Ukrainian exports. As you could see from the vessels traffic via the Sulina channel, almost 70% was Ukrainian cargo. Constanta acted as a main hub, as an important hub for the Ukrainian grains. Out of the 36 million tons of grains managed by Constanta last year, which was, by the way, a record of all times, 14 million tons were Ukrainian grains. And they were, of course, participating to this record. So almost 40% of the traffic was consisted of Ukrainian grains. And let's focus on this number. 60% of this quantity, so 8.5 million tons, reached Constanta by barges from the Ukrainian port. Now, I started with these figures just to underline the importance and the impact of the Danube corridor on the overall traffic from Ukraine. Of course, these numbers could not have been achieved without the help and the participation of the shipping and the port communities, of the local and central administrations, and without a good cooperation between Ukrainian authorities, Romanian authorities, and Moldavian authorities. Danube Solidarity Lane is, by its configuration, an intermodal configuration. When we speak about intermodality, when we speak about multimodality, we tend to think about the logistics flows of containers. Well, the Danube Solidarity Lane shows that intermodality fits very well also for the bulk and general goods transport. Just imagine the complexity of the structure of the different configurations of the logistics chains. Imagine being a Ukrainian farmer and sit on your own cargo and wanted to export it, especially in the year of 2022, but also it happened in 2023. What way should you choose to export your cargo? So the configuration of the possible solution was very sophisticated and very complicated. So different size and number of trucks, of rail cars, of sea vessels, of ports involved, both in Ukraine, in Moldova, in Romania, a variety of stakeholders participating in these cargo flows. At the end, intermodality, because we discuss about intermodality, this relates to coordination and integration of different modes of transport. How? In an efficient manner. That's the key word, in an efficient manner. So the characteristics of these chains is the fragmentation of both commercial and logistics chain. Despite multimodal, because we make a bit of a confusion between multimodality and intermodality. Despite the multimodal transports, the intermodal ones, like these ones that we were operating on a Danube Solidarity Lane, should cope with the responsibilities of different actors, especially at the nodes or intersections, if you want to say it like that, of the logistics chain. So we deal with multiple actors with competing interests, multiple contracts, and several locations where these interests they meet. We have just listed in this slide few of these actors, but the list is not exhaustive. Danube Commission, together with the DG Move, acted mainly as an interface, as a link between the front line, the shipping companies, the port operators, the forwarders, the brokers, and on the other side, the administrations and the authorities. From our experience in the Danube Solidarity Lane, we have identified the following challenges that the actors in these chains have to cope with. Elements related to costs, to time, elements related to risks, elements related to availability and opportunity, and at the end, but not the least important, the art of managing the logistics chain. I will try just to say a few words about these elements, the costs, the time, the risks, and the opportunity. The key word in any logistics chain is predictability. If there is one major thing to mention regarding the work on the Danube Solidarity Lane, then this is the lack of predictability, which generates huge challenges in planning and, of course, in cost control. Here we have listed a few of these costs and time-consuming activities which must be managed in such a cargo flow. The ones marked in red are the most important ones, the ones which are creating the difficulties to be predicted and budgeted. These unpredictable elements, they occur especially at the nodes, at these intersection points of different modes of transport. And these nodes are the ports, the ports mainly. Same approach and attention should be paid to risks. A risk management is essential in any cargo flow. Besides the predictable risks, which can be anticipated, could be hedged or budgeted, we don't have to forget about the major risk, which is war, even today. The stakeholders operating in such an environment where the majority of insurance brokers stepped back makes the life of the stakeholders, if not impossible, very difficult. The entire responsibility remains on the shoulders of the operators. Let's not forget the several drone attacks in Izmail, in Ren, in Kilia, in Orlovka, which ended up with material and unfortunately with human life losses. Many actors in these logistics chains stepped back from the operations. Others continue to work, trying to find solutions, such as to protect especially the crew members on board of the vessels. All these created disruptions or limitations on the whole logistics chain, generating, besides huge costs and time losses, the withdrawal, step back of several stakeholders from the corridor. In these circumstances, managing availability of ships, port terminals, equipment availability, and operating slots became essential and extremely important for all the stakeholders in the chain. What was the role of Danube Commission in all this context? Well, our mission was nothing but to facilitate and support the cargo flows between Ukraine and the EU. We acted as an interface between the private sector and the authorities and administrations, trying to identify together the main bottlenecks, the administrative barriers, the limitations and the restrictions in capacity. We tackled each and every subject landing on our table, and also try to identify to analyze and adjust, but not by ourselves, but together with the stakeholders, the fundamental subjects in order to create a fluent cargo flow on this corridor. I will try to summarize in a few slides our activity in our almost 2 years of work. We have focused on certain, let's call them burning areas, like Sulina, like Constanta, like Danube ports, like market stakeholders. So for each of them, we have paid very much attention in identifying the majority and the main problems, let's say, conveyed by the private sector, and try to address them with the administration. With the waterway administration in Romania, we have succeeded to promote together with the DG Move, the European Commission, with the help of the European Commission, the change in the legislation, which at the end permitted the waterway administration to increase the salaries of the pilots in order to attract more pilots, because that was the main problem of the traffic on the Sulina Canal. And at the end, we have succeeded that. On top, we have assisting them in setting up and also implementing a Primus, so-called Primus project, an investment in infrastructure, in equipment, but also in traffic management. At the end of the day, the results could be seen in the traffic numbers. If in June 2022, the Sulina Canal was able to manage 10 to 12 movements per day, today, with these new conditions, they operate 20 to 22 vessels per day. Another focus was, of course, in Constanta. We have understood the importance of this key port in the Danube Solidarity Lane, and especially related to the exports of Ukraine. Danube Commission, together with the DG Move, supported both the Constanta port administration, but also the port community, to find solutions at the bottlenecks that we have identified together. From the achievements that we had together, so there are not ours, that they are the achievements of the administrations and the port community, we could mention the traffic management challenges, starting from the excess of trucks in the port and terminals, barge waiting areas, barge traffic management, transit documentation for the barges, location for temporary location and anchorage of the vessels arrested in the port, installation of a monobuoy ship-to-ship transshipment location. Many of these issues on our agenda have found their some solutions. Some of them are still in progress. Our activity related, as I have mentioned before, helping, assisting, and giving support to the Danube ports connected to the Ukrainian cargo flow, especially the ports of Giurgiulești in Moldova, Galați and Brăila. We have actively promoted these ports and organized visits of farmers, of grain traders associations to the ports to visit the terminals, and also creating an opportunity to discuss with the administrations in order to find other gates, other solutions, especially at the times of big pressure of the traffic from Ukraine. One of our other activity was the contact with the private sector, which was permanent and consistent. We practically conveyed the needs and specified by the private sector to the authorities. We acted also as a link between trading, commercial companies and logistics companies, and we tried to aggregate and address all the problems to the administrations in order to find solutions. And as we, some of the colleagues speaking before discussed about the traffic of containers, we could say that we have assisted, we have supported building up a container traffic from Ukraine to Constanta and the way back. Today, we are proud to say that there is a liner traffic of containers between the ports of Reni and Constanta of 2 vessels per week, 2 coasters per week. but also 2 barges per week using Danube to supply Constanța. This was possible for no other reason but predictability, because on this stretch, being a short stretch with no major water level problems, the traffic between the 2 ports could have been predictable, and in this way we were able to build up this traffic. Removing administrative barriers was at the end our main job, Danube Commission and DG Move. And how we did it, I mentioned before. First, we started with bottlenecks. We have analyzed and understand the problem together with the stakeholders and addressed this to the responsible authorities. It was not an easy task, but together with DG Move, I can say that we had some tangible and significant results that changed at the end the rules of the game and translated, of course, in a more fluent flow of cargo. Few of these that are mentioned on this slide, like the increasing of number of inspection teams, abolishing the phyto certificate, which was demanded for the transit cargo, or changing the procedure in submitting the discharging permits for the transit barges in Constanța. Our job does not stop here. We hope the war will start now, but we consider that even after the war stops, the importance of this Danube corridor, which was created, will remain significant, especially for the imports, for the flows of cargo for reconstructing Ukraine. So we are here, count on us, call us, and last but not least, let me take this opportunity to inform you about the Danube Commission initiative, which in cooperation with the Embassy of Turkey in Budapest will organize on June the 6th a workshop called Linking Turkey by Danube. The workshop is designed to promote the use of the Danube waterway and the Danube ports for cargo flows between the Danube region and Turkey. The workshop will be a hybrid one with the participation of the authorities, administration, Turkish business community, logistics providers, port, truck, and shipping operators. I take this opportunity to kindly invite you to participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Antonio Stoyan, this presentation. It was extremely interesting. I hope all the participants enjoyed. At last but not least, the CFR Marfă presentation is coming. So I would like to ask Miss Renata Godja to unmute their microphone and start the presentation. Okay, the sharing is working, but the unmute button still, yeah?
Okay, hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
we are hearing you. Thank you so much. And please step for the next presentation for test they're working.
Oh, 1 second, please. Just a second.
We have time. Yeah, this is another way, but you can change to slide mode, slideshow.
Right.
Just start the slideshow. Yep. from beginning. Yes,
Is it okay now?
it will be perfect if it started.
Yes, we can start. Hello, everybody. I'm Renata Godja, the Commercial Director at CFR Marfă. So I'm going to start our presentation with a few words. As you probably know, CFR Marfă is the national transport rail freight operator in Romania. And because the theme of our meeting today is intermodal transport, I would like to show some elements of intermodal transport in this the second slide. This meaning that it's transport on long distances between road and rail and then road. It's a long distance freight transport
Try to
system.
step because it's not available still. So press the second slide because maybe it's just working on manual.
This is the second, elements of intermodal transport.
Yeah, we are still seeing the first one.
Ah, okay. Now it's okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the theme of our meeting today. So what does it mean an intermodal transport? It's a long distance freight transport system, usually involving maritime, rail, inland waterways, and or air transport modes. It involves transport terminals that ensure the efficient transfer of cargo units from one modal transport system to another. And the last but not the least, it's a system of collection and distribution of flows of goods at the points of origin and destination, respectively, of the transport chain, made as a rule by means of road transport. This is not a new information, of course. Our colleagues already mentioned the characteristics of the intermodal transport. Just a second for the next slide.
Maybe just press the right arrow.
Oh.
Or the space, maybe.
These are some technical problems.
Yes.
Can you see the third?
Yeah, this is the yeah.
These are some details, some information from the intermodal transport in Europe. It's the share of combined and total rail transport, as you can see, in each country. The combined transport marked in red. Okay, the next slide, it's the market share by transport mode in Romania. As you can see, CFR Marfă owns 4% market share among all the other types modes of transport in Romania. These are details from 2023, last year. Our main activities are rail freight transport, shunting procedures, maintenance and modernization, transport logistics, custom formalities, and rolling stock renting. Here is a slide with our local organization, meaning we have administrative rail stations, the operation depots, locomotive overhauling yards, rail cars overhauling yard, and one ferryboat terminal in Constanta port. This is probably the most interesting information for our today meeting theme. We own 28 intermodal terminals located all over Romania, as you can see marked on this map. Not all of them are right now operational. but they can be. So this is very important. A satellite view of our terminal in Constanta port, that one that I mentioned before, that we have. And also a few words about this ferryboat terminal in Constanta. It's located in the southern part of Constanta port, offers proper conditions of loading and unloading operations for specialized vessels, being equipped with for handling trains using the European train gauge. The terminal has a group of 3 railway lines of 750 meters each, used for loading and departure of rail cars. A group of 10 lines used for precise rail cars in order to be loaded, unloaded on/off vessels, with a total length of 450, maximum 500 meters, and 5 railways used for access on the vessel. The rail cars being operated with onboard equipment. This is a slide with our locomotive fleet, active fleet over 300 locomotives, from which 149 electric, 109 diesel electric, and diesel hydraulic 64. And also the wagon fleet, active fleet 8,100. Of each type, of different types, as you can see, E-types wagons, the F-type wagons, the G-type, R-type, U for heavy goods cereals, the D-type for diesel petroleum products mainly, and T-type wagons. Our subsidiaries are, as you can see, forwarding. We own Rofersped. It's an important forwarder on the Romanian rail market, founded in 1997. Rofersped offers the full range of integrated logistics for rail transport in domestic and international traffic, and also related services. We have also a subsidiary named CFR IRLU. It's locomotive repairs and modernization. Very important for this CFR IRLU is that it was the first supplier in Romania for current maintenance services for electric, diesel electric, and diesel hydraulic locomotives. The main 11 units of CFR IRLU are located countrywide in Bucharest, Craiova, Pașcani, Buzău, Brăila, Constanța, Simeria, Giudeș, Oradea, and Târgu Mureș. So a lot of a very wide covering. Maintenance and other subsidiaries, maintenance and repairs of wagons, provides maintenance and repairs of wagons. It's the CEIRV name. Provides services of maintenance, repairs, and modernization of freight cars. Has 10 territorial units and 3 units for freight wagon transportation in Constanța, Barboș, Brateș, Ghigiu, Suceava, Vișan, Dornești, Cristești, Jijia, Satu Mare, Oradea, Roșior de Vede, Petroșani, Sibiu, and Curtici. This is a slide showing the connections with in Constanta port, rail connections. Very important also Romanian rail borders for performing transportation with Ukraine and also Hungary, Serbia, Republic of Moldova. As you can see, we have Dornești, Constanța, we have Halmeu border Constanța, Episcopia border Constanța, Curtici border Constanța, with the Serbia, Stamora frontier Constanța, and with the Republic of Moldova, Cristești, and also Galați, with the Constanța, Galați is not shown here. Tendencies in combined rail-road transport. This is something that our colleagues previously mentioned. I'm going to mention them also. It's the increasing role of logistics operators by integrating intermodal transport services in the logistic chain of supply, retail, and the development of transport as an extension of industrial production activity. Also, another tendency is conclusion of agreements and cooperation between logistics and transport operators in order to obtain service and transport contracts. Then, as you probably know, and all of us know, the construction of intermodal transport terminals by the private sector. This is another tendency. modernization of existing terminals. This is what we are trying to do. Improving the quality of intermodal transport services. Implementation of a tracking, planning, and management system for intermodal freight transport using intelligent transport system. This is very important in our opinion. And of course, we need a promotion of the national intermodal transport system. This is, I think, a key goal for all the Romanian operators. Very important also, we have to mention at the end that we are trying to relaunch the Rola transportation, because CFR Marfă owns the 160 Rola wagons. They come MSS for Rola transportation. This is we are the only one in Romania, the only one transport operator that owns this type of wagons in Romania. Meaning that you can put on this type of wagon the whole car. I mean, tractor unit and semi trailer. Perspectives, strategic aims that we have total integration in European rail transport. Of course, digitalization, very important. Increasing international share of transportation, rolling stock rehabilitation and acquisition of new one. Developing intermodal traffic, and of course, we're looking forward to finding new partnerships. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to.
Thank you so much, Renata. It was an interesting presentation because the CFR Marfă is well known in the Romanian market, but still not as known the Hungarian, Serbian market. I hope once you also can enter to that market, because you will have capacity on traction side and wagon side also. So good luck for your railway, international railway services all around East Central Europe. Thank you so much, the presentation again. And I am very happy that CFR Marfă also come to the Constanta Day Budapest event in Wednesday. So we will see you very soon in Budapest.
Face to face, of course. Thank you very much.
And I would like to thank all the participants who joined us today. And it was the fourth Cargo Along the Danube conference. We have no more presentations, so I would like to thank your coming and see you in the fifth time next year. So as I promised, I shared Mr. Fábián presentation on our website. I did it actually, and I will send you the link of the YouTube video of this conference, so you can watch back that part of the conference which are interesting for you. So thank you so much to join us today, and goodbye.